But, you know, Australians really do have to wake up here. The news today is grim, and that was most starkly seen by the long queues today at the Centrelink offices. Australia starts to shut down, as governments yesterday ordered restaurants and bars, pubs, cinemas, entertainment venues to close, throwing tens of thousands more people out of work.
My job's closed in the city. I worked at hospitality, one at a bar, one at a restaurant, and both of them shut with very little notice. I mean, look, we knew it was coming, but they just closed doors and that's it. I'm out of a job, man.
And I was re-entering the workforce. My daughter's just started daycare. Yeah. So just trying to get back in the workforce at the worst time when everyone's losing jobs. It's really difficult.
It's horrible. I mean, I put a number on it. The number of people trying to get onto the MyGov website today looking for financial help from the government went from the usual 6,000 to 55,000. The system couldn't cope, crashed, like the economy. And possibly hundreds of thousands of Australians could join that dole queue in a shutdown that the Morrison government warns will last at least 6 months, probably more, to slow the spread of this virus, which is doubling its number of victims here every 3 days.
Across Australia today, many thousands of Australians will lose their jobs. They are lining up at Centrelink offices as we speak. Something unimaginable at this scale only weeks ago. They have lost their jobs, many, and we know many more will. This is the biggest economic shock our nation has faced in generations.
And the restrictions are incredible. The latest today, Queensland has shut its borders to travellers, joining Western Australia, South Australia and Tasmania. Now, it's clear that a lot of Australians don't actually yet take this crisis seriously enough. We saw last Friday when thousands ignored the pleas to keep a social distance from other people, instead crowded Sydney's Bondi Beach, forcing Sydney's beaches to be officially closed. Now look, you might think all these shutdowns are an overreaction, and you might think, well, if you're young, you're unlikely to die from this, so the danger is worth risking for a party with mates or a dinner with the gang. But here's the thing. It's not just that by catching the virus that you could still spread it before you even knew you were sick to people who will die, like your parents or your grandparents particularly. What you are also doing, have a look at all those queues today of the unemployed. What you are also doing is making all this sacrifice so far worthless. All those Australians out of jobs because of these shutdowns, they must be thinking, why am I losing my job to stop people passing on this virus if other Australians are still partying on? You know, this is a moral test, and many Australians are still failing it. And that's, of course, infuriating federal and state leaders. The Prime Minister today said, wait, look how fast this virus spreads, how contagious it is. He mentioned a wedding in New South Wales. One person flew in from overseas. By the end of the day, 35 guests were infected, 35, including a politician that was sitting at a committee, and now another one of those politicians, Senator Fitzpatrick, he says he's got the virus too. That's how fast. Victorian Premier Dan Andrews today gave another example of a dinner party of 12 people. What a number.
A case last week where a group of people, a dozen or so, went to a dinner party. As best we can tell, the dinner party started with one person who had the coronavirus. By the end of the dinner party, almost everybody at the dinner party had the coronavirus. This spreads rapidly. If people simply behave as normal, if they don't take this seriously, if they act selfishly, then people will die.
So we can demand all the action we like from the government, all the shutdowns, all the restrictions, but nothing the government does will work unless Australians themselves do their bit. So stay at home if you can. Don't mingle. Don't shake your hands with anyone. Keep your distance. Wash your hands often and don't touch your face. Do it, because if you don't, others may die. Do it, or you'll be spitting in the face of all those many Australians who have now lost their jobs, so the rest of us will be safe.